Vietnam finalizes key party leadership positions for new term. Trump says U.S. armada heading toward Iran. Sowing the seeds of literacy on the isolated island.
Hello, so good to see you again in today's news by Nghệ An Press and Broadcasting Agency. I'm Hoàng Yên, and here we go, the first step live the show. On the afternoon of January 23rd, the 14th National Congress of the Communist Party of Vietnam just held its closing session after 5 days of working. The Congress concluded with great success, having completed its entire agenda and assigned tasks.
At the meeting held at the Party Central Committee headquarters in Hanoi, the Party Central Committee elected the Politburo, the General Secretary, the Secretariat, the Central Inspection Commission, and the Chair of the Commission. The 14th term Politburo comprises 19 members, including 10 incumbents from the previous term who were re-elected. The Party Central Committee unanimously re-elected To Lam, who served as General Secretary in the 13th term, to continue as General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam for the 14th term. Meanwhile, the 14th term Secretariat consists of 13 members, including 10 Politburo members assigned by the Politburo to serve concurrently. 3 additional Secretariat members were elected at the meeting. The 14th term Central Inspection Commission comprises 23 members. In an atmosphere of excitement and confidence, the 14th Party Central Committee made its debut before the Congress.
U.S. President Donald Trump said U.S. naval armada was heading towards the Gulf amid rising tensions with Iran, but expressed hope that it would not have to use this force.
U.S. officials say the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln and several guided missile destroyers will arrive in the Middle East in the coming days. Additional air defense systems were also being eyed for the Middle East to guard against any Iranian strike. The U.S. deployment of forces to expand its military presence in the Middle East aims to strengthen the defenses of soldiers in the region and prepare for further actions following the airstrikes on Iranian nuclear facilities in June 2025. On the same day, the commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, declared, "The IRGC and the country of Iran are firmly on the trigger, more prepared than ever, ready to carry out the orders and measures of the supreme leader."
Meanwhile, Greenland's Premier Jens Frederik Nelson states that the Danish Autonomous Territory seeks a peaceful dialogue with the United States, while emphasizing that Greenland wishes to remain part of Denmark and any violation of its sovereignty is a red line.
Speaking to the press, Premier Nielsen affirmed the island's position. "We have red lines. We must respect our territorial integrity. We must respect international law and sovereignty. No one else has the authority to sign agreements regarding Greenland and Denmark without our involvement." Premier Nielsen also emphasized a preference for Denmark, the European Union, and NATO over the U.S. Furthermore, he stated that he was unaware of the details regarding a framework agreement concerning Greenland, which U.S. President Donald Trump mentioned following a meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte.
Upcoming are some updated news.
According to the 2025 MegaHubs Index report, released by the aviation data platform OAG, Vietnam has 2 representatives in the top 25 most connected airports worldwide in the low-cost carrier segment. Specifically, Tan Son Nhat International Airport ranks 19th, while Noi Bai International Airport makes its debut on the list in 25th place. This result highlights the positive recovery and growth of Vietnam's aviation industry, particularly in expanding low-cost flight networks to meet the travel demands of both domestic and international tourists. Additionally, the Hanoi-Ho Chi Minh City route continues to rank among the world's busiest domestic flight corridors, reaffirming the transportation capacity and the rising status of Vietnamese aviation on the global map.
The Vinh Than Expressway project, which connects to the border gate with Laos, spans 60 kilometers and passes through 9 communes in Nghệ An province. With a total investment of approximately 23,940 billion VND, the project is expected to drive economic development in border areas and enhance synchronized transportation infrastructure. According to the roadmap set by the Nghệ An Provincial People's Committee, all infrastructure for resettlement areas must be completed by June 30th, 2026. For households eligible for resettlement, the approval and payment of compensation must be finalized before April 30th, 2026, ensuring the handover of clean land by August 30th, 2026. With the drastic involvement of local authorities and the consensus of the people, Nghệ An is striving to accelerate preparatory steps to ensure the Vinh Than Expressway project commences on schedule before April 30th, 2026.
The People's Committee of Nghệ An Province has just issued a plan to organize the province's booth at the first Spring Fair in 2026, taking place from February 2nd to 8th at the Vietnam Exhibition Center, Dong An District, Hanoi. The Nghệ An booth will display typical industrial, handicraft, agricultural, village craft, and OSIOP products of the province, with designs reflecting the local identity. Through the fair, Nghệ An hopes to strengthen trade promotion, connect trade, and expand markets for local products. Currently, the entire province has 743 OCOP products rated 3 stars or higher.
In the heart of vast Bản Vẽ hydroelectric reservoir, there are villages that have lived in isolation for many years, facing a multitude of hardships. However, the path to school for children here is no longer distant and difficult anymore, thanks to the silent sacrifices of teachers who stay in these remote villages. More in the story today.
Hoi Bung Village, Hu Quang Commune, is a land almost completely isolated from the outside world. Therefore, when teacher Va Wai Den volunteered for her mission on this isolated island, the only way to get in or out was by boat. A costly, arduous journey fraught with hidden dangers on the water. However, rising above all challenges for the sake of the children's future, these teachers persist in staying with their villages and classrooms. They quietly sow the seeds of literacy and meticulously care for every meal for the Khmer Mu ethnic children through long, lonely days in this desolate area. Where, outside of teaching hours, we take the time to grow vegetable plots so the children can have more food. There is no electricity or mobile signal here, so transporting food and supplies into the village is incredibly difficult. The three-nose life on the Hoi Bungs Island means that after class, the two teachers live in near-total solitude as night falls. Homesickness and longing for their own children are constant, but for the mission of sowing literacy in the highlands, they set aside their personal feelings to quietly nurture the dreams of children in this land of countless hardships. There are times when my child is sick, and I miss home dearly. When something happens in my family, there is no signal to call back. But since I've chosen this profession, I have to keep trying. To build the Ban Ve hydropower plant, thousands of households in the villages of the former Tuong Duong district had to relocate for resettlement. However, among the affected areas, 3 villages in Hu Quang Commune remain isolated for many years, living right on the hydropower reservoir, but having no electricity and lacking everything. This is a disadvantage, not only for the locals, but also for the teachers who stay every day to teach at the ends of hardship. Empathizing with the people's lives, it is these dedicated teachers who have quietly nurtured the sprouts of knowledge, step by step lighting up hope and guiding young children toward a brighter future.
The teachers here are very enthusiastic and responsible toward the students and the party cell. They provide a lot of support to the parents as well.
No electricity, no signal, and no adequate living conditions. Yet their faith and responsibility toward the children never fade. The silent sacrifice of these attached teachers does not just sow the first letters of a child's life. It ignites the light of knowledge, hope, and a future for generations of students at the edge of adversity.
The last story descended our news today. Thank you so much for your attention. Goodbye for now.